The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests. If you're a sensitive snowflake that may get easily offended, then turn this off immediately. If you want to hear the real truth about the gun culture, then stick around. This is the Armed Citizen Podcast. What is going on, my Go Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast Live. This is episode 121. We are live as always on YouTube and simulcasting as always over on GunChannels.com. And, you know, shit, at this point, I don't even want to go through the Gun Channel spiel. I mean, if you don't know about Gun Channels, then you're just not sitting at the cool kids table or something like that. It's a great pro-gun, pro-2A community started by G-Webs over 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago. And it was built by gun owners for gun owners to have discussions just like this. So we're always over there. If you're new to the gun community or have any questions or anything like that, there's always someone over there that can answer that. And we like to have a good time as well. So most of the people that you guys are watching on a nightly basis, we all are over there as well. So we're going to talk a little bit SHOT Show tonight, obviously. And I don't know if you guys have heard of this or not. It's kind of a big deal. But for those of you that live under a rock, SHOT Show's next week, and we're going to be there. We'll bring in our first guest, and we're waiting for Jeff from Gear Report to get home and all of that, but we went ahead and kicked it off early. But my first guest is kind of, the quasi co-host at this point, but from the great state of Texas, the tactical leprechaun himself. What is going on, Clover?
You are correct, sir.
So now he's playing the old Johnny Carson and what's his name?
Ed McMahon.
Ed McMahon, yeah. Now, did you come with $1 million check from Publishers Clearing?
I wish. Good Lord. I just fly everybody out to SHOT Show. Everybody listening right now. Everybody that came in early anyway. Get a free ticket to SHOT Show. Screw it.
Yeah. So are you packed? Are you ready to go? You kind of excited? Right?
Excited, yeah. I'll be packed. We leave out probably early Thursday or early Friday morning. So I'll be packed like very, very late Thursday night.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way, not because I procrastinate. I've got everything laid out. But I'm always looking at weather, and it looks like it's going to be pretty nice, especially for Sunday and Monday. They're saying around 60 to 62 degrees, both Sunday and Monday, which are the days that we'll be outside. So I'm looking forward to that. But I've kind of got my stuff laid out. I'm one of those guys that I like the excitement of packing, not because I like packing, but I know that if I pack too early, then I'm just going nuts. So I'll wait till probably, Thursday night or Friday to pack. And then I fly out Saturday afternoon and land and about, 6 or so on Saturday night. But yeah, I enjoy it. Right now I'm kind of getting all of my stuff. And I think you did the same thing. I went to Walmart and I got my Sharpies, some extra pads of paper, little notepads, and Snob's out there. He's trying to decide if he's going to take his red or blue Speedo. I think he should bring the purple one. Just saying. But
the flesh colored.
Oh, let's not do that. Nobody wants to see that. Jeff is connected, but I think he's having maybe some issues. I don't know, because
apparently, yes,
circle of death around his thing. So I don't know. Can you hear us, Jeff? Can you say something if you can hear us?
Hello, greetings. Anything?
Okay, all right. Well, good. Well, we can hear you. We don't need to see, we don't want to see you, but we can definitely hear you. So how you doing, buddy?
Hanging in there.
So we got Jeff Kress, the founder and operator and the head gearhead, I guess, from gearreport.com. Both Clover and I do work with Gear Report, but I wanted to bring Jeff in because he attacks SHOT Show a little differently. Not only does he actually have a crew of people going, but they don't just cover firearms. And SHOT Show is not just about firearms; it's the hunting and outdoors and all of that. And so I was kind of going to bring Jeff in and kind of talk to us a little bit about how you and Gear Report kind of get ready to go for SHOT Show.
Yeah, that's a good question. And
you haven't even started, have you? You haven't even started getting ready yet, have you?
We're getting to the point in the year where I should probably start thinking about that. So
yeah.
This year is a little bit different approach, as it is every year. Every year you hear the same thing from me. Like, well, we did it this way the first year and the second year, and I can step through all the different things we did. And then the next year I'm like, yeah, okay, screw that. We're doing something different. So this year is the first time I'm going as a full-time content creator, gear reviewer. So in the past, I was probably a little more focused than I should be on some of my other business, and professionally, I was helping brands with marketing, and that kind of diluted what I did on the gear side. So now, as a full-time gear reviewer, I've looked at the landscape and looked at the team at Gear Report, said, we got people who are better at reviewing guns than I am. I'm going to let them do most of the gun stuff, and I'm going to do some of the things that, before Gear Report did guns at all, we did a lot of camping gear and other outdoor stuff. So I'm going to focus more on that type of thing. And AJ, who you guys may know through through his other business, Cedar Mill Fine Firearms. He's going with Gear Report, and he's one of our military vehicle content creators, and he does a lot of firearm stuff personally, so he'll probably do some gun stuff. And TJ's going to cover gun stuff, and Alan is our FFL and SOT, so obviously he's going to do gun stuff. So we've kind of changed the focus significantly. And along with that, how many meetings do you have booked right now?
0.
Actual meetings?
Yeah.
I think 2. I tried not to do the meetings anymore. I went with and Clover, and you'll probably remember this. I think I had literally 27 appointments booked my first year.
Yeah. And
that was just an absolute travesty of how to do things. I think I've got 2. And I've got a bunch of people I need to go see and all that, but I'm trying not to actually book appointments because I don't want to be settled under time crunches. I want to be able to move about if I need to. Clover, what about you?
No, I don't have any. And I remember you doing it, and man, you were like a pinball in the amount you walk and stuff, because those appointments across the thing, and what, I mean, it's hard to get your appointments in a general vicinity, right? Because when you get the appointments, they're, they schedule them for the most part, right? And so it's such a headache and all that I just fly by the seat of my pants, man. If I can't catch them, I'll move on to another booth in the area, and I'll come back, on my way out of the area or something like that. And if failing all of that, screw it, I'll just go on and talk with somebody else.
Yeah. Now, that being said, Jeff, I mean, are you doing the appointment route this year, or are you trying to be a little fluid?
I've always done appointments.
Yeah. Is it work for you, I guess?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's worked to the extent that I've had a lot of meetings with people. But part of the reason I have one appointment booked at this point, and I'll probably do another couple just for convenience. If someone I really want to talk to has a pretty full schedule, and I don't want to have to bounce through and they're not available. I'm going to do a few appointments, but I'm trying to keep. I have kind of blocked my time. So Tuesday, I'm going to start downstairs. Wednesday, I'm going to be on the second floor for part of the day. And then, of course, they've got that stupid pop-up thing that's only Wednesday, right? So I'll have to make some time for that. And then that means that my kind of geographic schedule is going to flow over into Thursday morning. But then afternoon and Friday, I want to be kind of whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
And I've never done this before. I have always had almost every minute scheduled, and many minutes double or triple booked. Like, well, if this doesn't work out, then I go to this other one. and it's been a nightmare. I mean, I had hair before I started going to SHOT, and it's completely just been too much. So different approach this year.
Yeah. Now you've got, aside from like me, Clover, Kellyanne, and other people, but as far as like Gear Report, you've got what, 4 going? Is that correct?
Yeah, me plus
your Gear Report flag.
Yep.
Okay. So when are you having them schedule? Are you kind of being the ringleader with your crew, or are you going to allow them to kind of do it their own way? How are you doing about that?
Okay. Well, let's step through them. Because what better than to go out in public and talk about people who aren't here, right? Who may hear it later. AJ's brand new, and he sent me a note about, hey, can you look at my meeting planner and see if I've overdone it? And he's got 20 something on the list.
Yes,
I don't think
you have.
Yeah, I don't think he's booked meetings. I think he's just saying these are the ones I want to talk to.
Oh, okay. Then that's fine.
Rookie. That's rookie level. You got to pump those numbers up, man.
I know. But he is pretty organized. I've worked with him at Gear Report and with his other business, and he is the consummate professional, and he's very organized. And I'm sure he's going to try to book some meetings. Alan, I have no idea. I can tell Alan, here's what I think you should do, and it'll go in one ear, out the other. Alan's going to do whatever he wants. So I know that up front. He knows it up front. It's kind of we that's our thing. Is I just okay, Alan, just whatever, and that's it. And TJ's kind of the utility guy. He's not setting up hardly any meetings. He may actually schedule a couple meetings of his own this year. I don't know. He's never done it. This will be his 3rd time at SHOT, because he had a knee blowout and had to miss one year. But I think he has yet to personally schedule a meeting. He just kind of goes where I go. So I don't know. Little TJ may sprout some wings and fly off on his own this year.
So I know you guys meet every morning in the media room for breakfast. Now y'all are staying together, but you always, even not just you guys, but like if me or Clover or other people that are helping or doing stuff with your report, we try to meet every morning for breakfast. First of all, get a free breakfast in the media room, but also kind of see, hey, excuse me, what's your game plan? But it's also a great time to sit there and say, hey, Jeff, I saw this cool thing walking by. I'm not into it. It's not going to be good for my channel, but it's booth number, blah, 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 down the dungeon. And it's a great way to kind of pass notes around everybody else. And so when you guys are at home at night and you guys get done with the events or whatever, and you're consolidating what happened with the day, does your game plan for the next day change? Or, I mean, is it you going to have going into it all week planned, or is it day to day literally?
Well, that's where things are getting kind of hairy again.
Yeah.
In that I've always had everything so planned and every day packed with meetings. Like I the past several years, I've left like Friday afternoon open, and everything else is booked back to back to back to back to back. I know what I'm doing the whole time. There is no flexibility, and that's part of what I'm trying to get away from this year is, looking at the data from our site. Budget did an article on a 9mm, I don't think it's an AR, but a 9mm pistol that's kind of like an AR pistol. I can't remember, but I'd never even heard of it. I can't remember what it is. Needless to say, there aren't a lot of reviews out there, and it has.
From who? Who was it?
Oh, no, I'm gonna have to go look at it.
Remember the company? Okay, all right. No, it's not a big deal. Go ahead.
But the point being, we're one of the few sites that has anything on it, so we've gotten a nice traffic bump, and it has been 1 or 2 in our traffic rankings for several months. So that really got me thinking. I want to look for more products like that people don't really know about, that they don't have a lot of reviews out there for them. And I am literally hoping to avoid most of the big brands, the big products, the stuff that before it's even out, before they announce it, it's in the hands of a handful of their little sponsored, content sites. So before I've even heard that it's going to be launched, people have reviews in the can. They're just embargoed, waiting for the switch to flip so they can make it public. I don't want to compete with them.
No,
I
I hear you.
want to be more freeform. I want to be more opportunistic. I want to be more flexible. I mean, in the past, even with those meetings, we have very much used time before, time after, time in transit places. Occasionally, when I wake up in the middle of the night and have an idea and wake the whole team up, like, hey guys, I saw this product. I remembered what it was. And yeah, they're like, you're drunk again. But,
Excuse me.
yeah. So I expect to be a lot more reactive this year. Personally. It's going to be kind of funny if the dynamic within Gear Report kind of flips and AJ picks up some of my, schedule by the minute, and I kind of go towards TJ more with the free form of, hey, let's just walk around and see what looks cool.
Yeah, Clover and you and I, we've been going and staying together for the last few years. So I can kind of tell you, people know that, but there was a question out there from G23 about, can just a regular Joe go to SHOT Show? And we have this discussion all the time because we're trying to get more people to go. Do you want to kind of talk a little bit about what SHOT Show and how to get into it?
Yeah, I mean, I can. I mean, SHOT Show is the industry show, right? So, there's, I don't know, media has become a focal point, and I guess because of the digital age and the new media and the internet and all that kind of stuff. But SHOT Show has been going on for a very long time, and it's an opportunity for those within the industry, the dealers, the manufacturers, the wholesalers, the suppliers, the whoever, to get together and basically do business. Hey, I need to order these raw materials from you. Well, I need to order all of these firearms from you. Well, I need to, so forth and so on, right? And so recently, you had obviously writers from back in the day, magazines, and maybe some TV shows and some other stuff showing up as media. But as the internet has grown, you've got bloggers and YouTubers and all that stuff come on board. So as long as you're media in the capacity of industry, or as long as you're in the industry somehow, then you're in. Now, they've seemingly kind of cracked down on the media side a little bit. Some of the requirements, even since Ghost and I first went, the requirements have got up a little bit. Now, that can be navigated. So if you get out there and do your part and get a channel going and a website and a blog or whatever, and play around on social media and do some things, then you've definitely got a shot at getting into SHOT Show's media. Outside of that, I mean, when you say, just the regular Joe or the regular person, well, people that own gun shops and things like that, there's people that have, FFLs out of their home and can go, for example, to SHOT Show. So, if you work for an FFL, wink, wink, right? Then you can get into SHOT Show. Now, they don't let FFL dealers just bring their random friends and stuff like that. But I guess what I'm saying is there are ways that somebody that seemingly is not involved in the industry could potentially get into SHOT Show, right?
Yeah.
And then there was another aspect of that, and it was fleeting, and I lost. So I'll chime back in if I remember what I was going to follow up with, unfortunately.
Yeah. For me, kind of going back to Jeff, what Jeff was saying is about loading yourself up with appointments. And when I say that I had like 27 appointments, I might be under exaggerating that number. I mean, I remember the second that I started getting emails from companies, and people told me, hey, you're going to start getting emails from companies saying, come visit our booth, schedule an appointment. I literally try to schedule as many appointments as I can because I thought in my mind, well, this is the smart way to do it. It's going to be organized, not understanding the magnitude and the size and the different levels and all of that of SHOT Show. I thought this will be easy. And on top of that, Jeff, you're going to love this. I scheduled someone within half an hour of each other. So you can only imagine the shit show that I was going to. And, so last year I only had a couple. And this year, I'll tell people all the time, my first year, I was there for content and meeting people. And I felt like I did that. I think I walked out. Well, there's no telling how many videos and all that. I met a lot of people. But when I left, I got on the plane and I don't know if you've ever felt like this. I'm going to ask you this, Jeff, but have you ever felt leaving that you didn't accomplish hardly anything?
Well, let's flip that. Have I ever felt leaving that I actually accomplished something?
There you go. Yeah.
And I can answer that kind of two ways. I've had both feelings. I've had them both at the same time, and they've both been right at the same time. Like, I will have accomplished some things. Like, I'll go with a list. Here are the things I want to achieve when I'm there, and I will check that stuff off as I go. But then 2 months later, how much of what was on the list, a lot of it was talking to people and setting things up for later. How much of that actually come through?
Right.
And that's the part that is soul crushing about SHOT, is when you've been enough times that you realize, and that's a lot of the reason why I'm not scheduling meetings now, is I'm like, well, screw it. I have run myself into the ground. I have literally, first year, I probably averaged almost 2 hours of sleep a night because I was running and gunning. I was by myself. I was filming. I was self-filming and then going back to the hotel and editing and uploading until I passed out at the computer. And then I'd wake up, jump through the shower, and go hit it again.
I can only imagine.
And it worked to a large degree. It helped me achieve some of the goals and get to where I am today. But in the intervening years, a lot of those meetings, man, it took me a while to accept that people get into robot mode in the booths and they go through the company reps. They just kind of go through the motions of having a discussion, and then nothing happens afterwards. So I'm not playing that game anymore.
I remember my fleeting thought now that had to do with getting in.
Go ahead.
If you don't mind, real quick.
No, go ahead. We'll do this one.
Remember too, as far as entry into SHOT Show, depending on how you go, depends on your access level as well.
Yeah.
Right. So the military, law enforcement get a different kind of access than the dealers, than the distributors, than the manufacturers, that type of thing. And then media is almost all access. So media is definitely the way to go.
New York Outcast had a great question, and this comes up a lot. If companies continue not to wait on SHOT Show to release products, will the value of going drop at all? And I want to say absolutely not. Understand that for some companies, and I will say most of the big dogs, they're going to have their products spread out throughout the year, because SHOT Show is not the only show. They've got, like, the week after, they got a 2-week show in Pennsylvania, the Great Outdoor Show. Some of them go overseas to IWO or whatever it is, the European SHOT Show. There's an Asian SHOT Show. There's NRAM. There's USCCA. There's shows just about, every month, at least once a month, that these guys have to do. That being said, what SHOT Show is not only a chance to get the entire industry together. Like you said, you've got the manufacturers, you've got the buyers, the distributors, the media, the law enforcement, the military. You've got everyone there. You're going to have 60 to 70,000 people within the industry all under the same roof at one time and excited about the whole year. It's not about the products right then and there. A lot of that is. Now, the companies that are going to be doing most of their stuff this week are going to be down what I call the dungeon, and it's the first floor. These are companies that couldn't get on the main floor. Some of these they literally put all of their savings and all of their marketing budgets for this 1 week. It's a literal make or break week. That's why I spend a lot of my time, and sometimes I'll say about 75% of my time in the dungeon, because I love the fact that the energy down there is so high. It's like you see pictures of this of Wall Street there on the floor of buy, sell, people going nuts. That's kind of the dungeon, because these people have 1 or 4 days to really either make or break their companies. And a lot of times you don't see these companies anymore because it didn't go well. So I enjoy that side of it. So SHOT Show is so much more about just releasing product. It is the interaction. It is getting people together that once a year, sometimes we get to see everyone in the industry. Yes, NRAM, USCCA, the outdoor show. Yeah, there's different places that you could be. But SHOT Show has become the place to say, hey, if you can't make any of those, you can only make one event, get to SHOT Show where 60 to 70,000 of your brothers and sisters in the industry are going to be there. Jeff, Clover, do you have anything to say about the companies, releasing stuff not during SHOT Show?
No, I mean, I go back to SHOT Show's been going on for decades. So it's not. No, don't think so.
Well, and in a lot of ways, to be completely honest, the public debut for a lot of products, they time it for SHOT Show, but that's not like the industry review.
Right.
A lot of people know it's coming because the NASGW is it's like late the prior year. Down in Florida, the National Association of Sporting Goods Wholesalers. So this is where a lot of the buying and selling actually happens. And brands are still working on big deals at SHOT Show. But a lot of this stuff, the brands are talking about it at their NASGW booth and saying, okay, this is going to be launched at SHOT. Don't say anything. But obviously, if something's going to be launched at SHOT and available at dealers soon, there's a whole supply chain that's got to ramp up for that. So lots of people know it's coming.
Yeah, for sure. Now I saw something that Kevin was talking about out there, and I had to go back, but I can't find it. Anyways, but Kevin's out there. He's going to be there. It's going to be nice to see him again as well. But yeah, my first year, going back to my first year, I was, like I said, appointment out, and I really left there feeling like I didn't accomplish much just because I didn't really experience SHOT Show, if that makes sense. I was head down, busting ass, going from appointment to appointment. At that point, I think I went to SHOT Show, I was like at 300 or 400 subscribers. So, I didn't know anybody outside of my small little crew. I had just met you, Jeff, maybe like a month prior to SHOT Show.
Right.
And I remember meet you and JJ. After Tuesday night, you kind of hung out with us out in the hallway, and actually kicked us out because we were there for so long, but giving us pointers and all that. So I appreciate that. But so I left the first year feeling a little bit disappointed in myself that I didn't really open my eyes to all that was going on. So last year I made a great change to try to see more. This year, I'm really trying to go work my ass off, talk to a lot of people that have now, I've become friends with, and know a lot more people, especially on the manufacturing industry side. But I want to enjoy, we went to a couple events last year throughout the week. The US Elite, went to Tonto's premiere. We went somewhere else. This year, we've got a lot more things lined up. So I'm looking to enjoy, because they say the after SHOT events are really where the good stuff happens. That's where the great conversations and all of that. So I'm looking forward now to this year to really expand my experience of SHOT and enjoy it. Are you, year after year for you, have you tried to enjoy it more, or what's your game plan as far as the after events?
After events. I didn't do them at all to begin with. Because I was just flat out booth videos, back to the room to edit and upload. Right. No time to eat, no time for anything. And a couple years ago, I decided, we're going to do more after hours stuff. And that's when the light came on that you can actually get to know people a little bit, make connections with them, and break them out of the robotic drone that you see when you talk to someone in a booth, because they're just so worn out of having the same discussion over and over and over and over and over with everyone who walks up, that that you can actually make more happen. So yeah, we are focusing pretty heavily on the off of the show floor activities. Honestly, this is the first year that those have been a higher priority to me than the on the show floor activities.
Yep. Before I get to Clover, I want to shout out Mandatory Carry, $10 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Says can't stay and play, but I'll circle back later. P.S. Why not Zoidberg? Really? Come on now. So I do want to appreciate you, Mandatory. Clover, I want to kind of bring you in, and what's kind of been your game plan, and what's your game plan this year as far as the after SHOT events?
Well, most of them you got to be, having in or be invited to, or or know they're going on, right? And a lot
Right.
of that stuff doesn't get just thrown out there either. So, yeah, I mean, in total, I don't know. I think maybe I've got one event every single. Well, as you know, we're double booked some nights, but
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I've got an event every night of the week
Yep.
this time. And last year I had an event. I think there was one night that I didn't have an event, and then in the past I was not. I don't know. That wasn't my scene. The whole after party thing and all that. I just didn't see that as my scene, right? And so it's like I'm not worried about it or whatever. And then after you experience one, you realize that okay. I mean, there's some people that get plastered and act a fool and party hard and all that kind of stuff. But then again, there's other people like yourself that, like Jeff said, it's just there to network, make those connections, and have a normal conversation and whatever. So on the surface, yeah, it looks like party woohoo, but it's not necessarily that way.
It's not. We went to some cool ones last year, got to see some friends because you're gonna know someone at all these events you go to, so it's nice to see familiar faces. But part of the events are not hanging with your buddies. It's getting a chance to talk with people that you don't know. You can hang with your buddies anytime you want, go to Circle Bar or whatever and hang out, or wherever, but you can, these events are where it's at. And like you said, your first year, unless you're going with someone that has been invited or has been known, you're probably not going to hear about much just because they don't know you, you don't know them, so you're not going to get. Second year, yeah, we start getting some. This year, yeah, every night I've got something. Most nights I've got multiple, which is fun because the great thing is you don't have to stay at one of them the whole time. You can go for a half an hour to hour, say hi, have a conversation, jump to the next one, and still kind of get home at an early hour. That's my goal. That's my goal, is to be home, by 10, 11 o'clock each night, which I think is doable. I got a great text, and I want to get this. This is from Two Gun Kitty. Says, after traveling and lodging, how much expense should an average person expect to spend out of pocket attending SHOT Show on food, entertainment, and such? Now, the answer to that is very tricky because you can go, let's say you're going as a media or a creator like we are. You can go and spend as much as you want, or if you're tight and you're frugal and you're trying to save every dollar you can, I think the first year I went, including flight, hotel, and food, it was about $600 total. Last year was about that. This year it's going to be a little bit more. Just because remember the first year we went to eat at like Denny's, like literally went to eat at Denny's every night. This year, we're probably not going to have to spend a whole lot of money on food because the events we go to usually provide food and all that. So the food aspect is going to help as you go more and you get to know more people and go to these events. I would say, to be safe, for spending money, hotel, like I said, you can go and spend thousands and thousands of dollars. But if you're willing to room with other people and share expenses, if you're driving, so I fly, so it's going to cost me, let's say, $600 just for lodging and flight this year, which is actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good for a week of lodging because I go Saturday and leave Friday afternoon, so I'm there a week. And then you have the food and all that. I mean, I don't know how much you're willing, do you want to eat and all that stuff. So that's going to be tough. I'm going to go with Jeff and Clover and let them also talk about, without giving exact expenses if you don't want to, but it's going to cost me $600 for flight and boarding and then everything else. So I'm going to say $8,000 to $1,000. I think you'd be safe. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think 1,000 is going to be fairly budget because the first year was absolutely shoestring. Shoestring for me. Did not stay the entire week. And then on top of that, really sort of roughed it. I mean, we split the cheap room and, had food in the room and we didn't really go much after that, whatever. And I think I've got a video on that somewhere, I think, that I broke down because I did do kind of a fundraiser beforehand on that. So I kind of broke down my expenses in a video just for transparency's sake afterwards. And I want to say I did that for around $800 or something.
Yeah.
It really wasn't bad. Now, subsequent years, the problem that you run into is, you find cheap places to stay or whatever, and then they figure out that, oh crap, we can charge more SHOT Show week. And so
here's the thing, we were talking about the hotel room like tripling in price or 5 times the price this year than it was last couple of years.
Yeah.
Do you know why? The Conor McGregor fight is Saturday night in Vegas.
There you go.
And the McGregor Cowboy fight is in Vegas Saturday night. So that's going to jump shit up to begin with. So I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead and finish up. Sorry.
Yep, that definitely will. Yeah, you're right. No, subsequent years, I mean, one thing with the wife and I both going, we figured out that by the time that you figure airfare, and then I can shoestring budget stuff, right? The wife's not going to be able to do that. She's going to have her luggage and all of her extra stuff and all of that. So flying on a shoestring is just not an option. So then by the time you factor in all of that, the airfare, the extra baggage cost, the extra person, you're going to have to pick your seats, or otherwise you're not sitting next to your wife, which ain't no fun. That's an extra cost. You figure out Ubers and everything else while you're there. You got the hassle of, if you're going to carry, oh, well, I got to go early and I got to try to check this, and then I run the risk of maybe losing my firearm, and that sucks. And then you've got potentially getting there and meeting up with people that give you something that may be contraband for the flight, right? So there's all these drawbacks to the flight included. So with 2 people going, just depending on your location, of course, and what kind of a deal you can get on a rental, it's almost a wash. I mean, the difference is almost paying the fuel. But and is your fuel worth, and of course the drive time, is that worth the inconvenience of, to offset the inconvenience of potentially flying? So, you got to be able to get off work because it takes extra time to do that and whatever. But I'm just saying in some situations, that's kind of a cost cutting measure. And, I'm trying to think of everything else, but, Airbnbs and all of that kind of stuff, we've, really kind of taken to doing that kind of thing, and groups getting together and doing that kind of thing, not just us, but other people. We did that in Tulsa. It worked out great. It was awesome. I think we stayed in Tulsa for what? So many people split that house. It was $25 a night.
It was like $30 a night.
Yeah.
How many nights? Like $30 a night.
Or so,
I can't beat that.
A group. Yeah, if you've got a group you're going with, you can do something like that. There's a lot of ways that you can cut costs and save money for sure.
Jeff, what about you? You're a lot like us, where you're going to try to save as much money as you can. What kind of expenses are you looking for? I know it's changed over the last few years.
It has. There's been a theme, and that theme is that for a penny to get away from me, it's going to have to squirm and struggle, and it'll be bleeding and in tatters by the time it works its way out of my fist. With that in mind, we have really I take care of my team, right? I really do. And by that, what I mean is I try to respect their budgets and not incur any additional expenses for them, even if they would want to do it to themselves. I got to protect them from themselves, basically, is what I'm saying.
I hear you.
So
for sure.
That often means that we're coming in a lot lighter on the budget side than what some people might be comfortable with. But hey, I'm okay with that because I am to be here with you right now. I am skipping my son's scout meeting where I'm one of the scout leaders, and everyone knows the scout.
I told you not to skip the scout meeting, bro.
Well, actually, it's exam week too, and he said, I need to study for my exam tomorrow. Can we skip the meeting? I said, yeah, okay. So, all right. So there, you don't have to bear that burden.
Take all the burden. Yeah,
it's him as well. But
tough thing to burden, put on my shoulders. I'm a small guy,
It's so, I mean, this year I just threw a quick little. I've got a big spreadsheet. I just pulled a little data together in it to give you an idea. So we have got 4 people in an Airbnb, and it's worked out to about $155 a person.
Okay.
The car it's sitting at about 54, $55, something like that a person, and we'll have fuel where we have to fill it up before we drop it off. So I'm going to call that about $75 a person. The flight, I have had some frequent flyer miles with Southwest sitting there for a number of years. And I have for a while used a Southwest credit card that gets me points at accrues points as I spend. And I'm a big spender when it's not shot travel expenses. So I've racked up some points there. So it cost me, I think, $11.50 to book my flight with Southwest, which is awesome because you talk about, incremental fees and baggage and picking a seat. And Southwest, this is going to be the first time since my first year at SHOT I did Southwest, and I did it on points, and I wasn't able to do it in any other year except this one. And I have been bled to death on baggage fees the past few years getting there. And, like trying to carry just a personal item and a carry-on so I'd only have to pay $80. Well, I get 2 bags, so I'm going to be, I may have to hire a porter to haul my bags for me now.
My first year, I took one of those. I don't even remember the name of the brand, but it was one of those $50 flights each way. But they only fly certain days a week. So I flew in Sunday night and had to leave Thursday morning because that was just the way it is. But I got a cheap flight. Well, then you get there, and it's $50 each way, so it's $100 for airfare. But it's like $150 for a bag, and it's $50 for a carry-on bag. So they get you. And I'm flying. I'm definitely flying Southwest this year. This is my first time to fly Southwest, and one of the reasons why is because of the free bag. So it all works out. If you look at, you have to look at those additional costs and fees because they can get you in a bind if you're not prepared for that.
Yeah. Oh, a good point. A good point to bring up was when we're talking about extra costs because we have mentioned Airbnb a couple of times. Whether you're looking at Airbnb or VRBO, which is another site that does that kind of stuff, don't just search and look at the price listed on the search. Actually go put in your days and then people and all that, and then go into the listing and look, because that is just a price to rent. That doesn't include potential cleaning fees and
there
taxes.
will be
and there are people that are seemingly cheap. You're like, oh wow, this is a cheap place, and you'll click on it and the cleaning fee will be enormous or something like that. So make sure when you're looking at costs, no matter what it is, you're looking at all the extras. You're looking at the bottom line, what you're actually going to pay.
Yeah.
The great thing about Vegas, if you want to get about, is it's a fun town. There's a lot going on. But it's the convention capital of the world, at least of America. And they do this every week, all 52 weeks of the year. And they've got it down to a science. It is kind of fun to be out there. It's easy. There's a lot of food. There are a lot of lodging options between if you're willing to stay off the strip. And the hotel that we stayed in for the first couple of years was off of Boulder Highway. So it was about 10, 15 minutes from SHOT, but we were getting it for like $35 a night, like literally. It was great. Now it's $185 a night. That's why we're not there. But we did start doing the Airbnb stuff, and we've been there a couple times with Tulsa. We did it up in Indianapolis for NRAM. And that's the way to go if you want to, because it's a little more comfortable. You're going to have a bed, you're going to have a couch, a kitchen. So if you don't want to go out that night, you can cook something. That could save a lot of expense of going to a grocery store and doing all that stuff. So there are a lot of ways that if you want to, stay relatively cheap, you can and still have a good time. The great thing about Vegas, what I was going to get to, the great thing about Vegas is it is extremely, I don't know how to put this. It's ready to go for conventions like this. The transportation, the Uber, is great. You can Uber for $10 pretty much anywhere you want to go in Vegas, because especially they have a share Ubers now where you can maybe share someone going to the Sands. They can pick you up and all that. So there are ways if you don't want to rent a car. Kevin, I brought him in. He's only got a few minutes, but I want to bring him in. Kevin, you like to stay at the Venetian or at least on the strip close to that. can you kind of give someone who might want to who've never been to Vegas, and not only do they want to go to SHOT Show, but they want to experience Vegas while they're there? You know, what are those rooms running in? Are you going to spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 or whatever? What, you know, give someone that idea.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Kev, what's up?
Good.
Life is good.
Yeah,
brother.
it's funny. It's funny listening to you. I was just sitting here doing my nightly workout stuff, and I was listening to you. It brings back a lot of memories and a lot of options. You know, I was thinking about like one year I stayed at the Hard Rock and did the Uber to and from because I just wanted to be away from it. That was probably like the 4th to 5th year I was there. I was like I'm gonna get kind of further away. It turned out the convention was there where I was staying that week too, so that was always a fun adventure in the elevator. But other than staying at, well, and again, you saved a few bucks. I did the math afterwards, right? And then the next year I stayed in the Venetian because when I was doing the math on a room, again, usually bringing my brother, sometimes even a third person, you know, you got to have room. And I again, if I'm going to be somewhere for a week and I'm going to be editing video and doing all that stuff, that to me just a suite that, you know, has the workstation and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of depends on how you, like you're saying, it all depends on how you want to go. To me, the beauty of staying on site is there is no travel. You don't get into Ubers to go to the show. You go downstairs. And it's invaluable. Even though, you know, you walk through these huge lobbies to get there, that the Sands Convention Center is connected to both the Venetian and also the other one.
Palazzo or something like that.
Yeah, the Plaza, exactly. Time. So I'm actually going back this year to a different spot based on a couple reasons, but I'm going to be across the street in Mirage this year again. I love that hotel anyway. So, and that's again, you walk down the front of that hotel, walk out the front doors, walk down the little thing past the volcano and across. So that's the plan for this year.
And there's a lot to bring in there because you're right. Because when you're talking about staying off the strip or whatever, you know, even if you're on the strip and you're not the Venetian or the Palazzo, you can walk, you know, a couple blocks to the Venetian or the Sands and you're fine. If you're staying off site like we are, once again, you're talking about, is the price of that room worth the $10, $20 a day for Uber? You know, you have to add all of that in. So, you know, I've been to Vegas a lot. I used to go every week when I was living in California. So I don't have any desire to go be at Vegas. I've done that, you know.
Sure. Well, that's the other spot, you know, like if you want to be around all the action and you don't have to like go home. Like, again, there's a difference between having to go home to take a shower, to get dressed, to go out at night, to meet friends versus go back, you know, to a hotel that's a quarter mile down the road or even 2 or 3 miles down the road. There's just a big difference. And that was the big thing that threw me off when I stayed at Hard Rock was people be like, well, let's go do this. And I was always a half hour out from wherever I needed to get to by the time I'd get downstairs, get an Uber, get where I needed to be, and then find them. There's a lot of time there, especially with SHOT Show. Unless you're an early riser and you're there when the doors open, you know, there's a lot of time involved with travel. Once, you know, team's up, ready, breakfast, let's go. And then you got to get there.
See, I'm a little disappointed in G23 out there. He says that he's got a Wyndham's card with enough points to stay at Caesars for a week. Seriously, dude? Why aren't you here? Come on, man. Come on.
He could have at least sponsored us.
That's right. You could have given it to us if you weren't going to use it. I'm not kidding. But more importantly, get there. We'll get you in the door. You know, my goodness. Come on. So, Jeff, you know, and Clover, we'll bring you guys back in and just talk about some of the cool experiences. I know there's a lot of people that, you know, that they want to go to SHOT, but I don't think they truly understand what SHOT is. And, you know, maybe some of the cool experiences you've had, Jeff, I want to bring you in. What's one of the coolest things you remember that happened to you while at SHOT? Do you remember anything specific?
Cool things that happened at SHOT.
For you or for Gearport or whatever.
It was the second year there, maybe. I think that's when it was. The two people were like, oh my God, it's you. And I was like, well, good. Let's get some pictures. And it's not happened since. So, been several times since then. That was cool because, when you're broadcasting stuff, when you are publishing stuff, that there's a small audience that you interact with. And you always wonder, does anyone else actually know or care if you're doing what you're doing? Or at least I wonder. I'm sure you just accept that,
Nobody cares. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
But I wonder, does it even make a difference if I'm here or not sometimes? So that was really cool to get some people that I didn't know that just ran into walking around at SHOT. And it is pretty cool when when we're in a booth and someone not just says, "Oh yeah, Gear Report, I've heard of you guys," because that's just kind of standard intro where they've heard or not. But if they then substantiate it by telling me something that proves that they knew, then I'm like, okay, yeah. So those things are pretty cool. Cool is getting hands on cool guns and getting to shoot stuff that I wouldn't get to shoot before. That's always nice. Getting into events that I know most people in the world would not be able to get into. That's kind of cool. Makes me feel special, because kind of circling back to the first question that I thought Clover and you did a really good job answering about, normal people going to SHOT or however it was worded. I'm just a regular dude that has done some stuff that allows me to go do this. So it is kind of, you do feel some of those kind of pinch me moments every now and then, like, holy crap, yeah, I am allowed to be here. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Clove, what about you? Is there anything that kind of jumps out that said, so far in the few years that I've gone, like, this is the kind of the coolest thing that's happened? Maybe not like meeting someone, but like for you or the channel or the project or whatever.
Oh, well, it's got to be meeting up with Jeff, right?
Yeah, it has to be.
And in all honesty, really, that was a pretty cool moment. If you remember, I don't remember now how that happened, but I know we were in the media room and everybody just, talking and networking and doing our thing and meeting people. And the next thing you know, Jeff's talking about affiliate marketing and how he can help us out with this, that, and the other. And then we're out in the hallway because they kicked us out of the media room and all his crew's there. And, I don't know, that was kind of cool. No bigger than we were, right? It was kind of cool that, because, I was just that you were getting attention from a colleague like that. It was just, I don't know, it's kind of cool. Same thing. Kevin's obviously in here. Same thing with him. That was more of an NRA thing. Possibly that Kevin opened some doors and really paid us some attention and helped us along and did some things. So that camaraderie, I guess, would be a good word for that. And there's a lot of people in our creator sphere, is what I call it. There's a lot of people in our creator sphere that suck at the camaraderie and being a part of the community. There just are. But, thank goodness that even though there are a lot of those people out there, the vast majority are very friendly people and willing to help out and collab and give you advice and pointers and help you make connections and network and do other things. So, that's one of the things I enjoy about it.
Yeah, Jeff's got a picture up with me, you, and JJ.
There you go.
And this was, I think, Tuesday night after day one at SHOT. We were there hanging out for a while.
Yeah, something like that. And Alan. So Alan had been.
Alan, yeah.
So Alan will be back this year.
Nice.
You'll see him doing whatever he wants because he doesn't care what I say. I'm not bitter about it.
Yeah, Kevin, what about you? Is there anything that kind of sticks out, especially in your first couple years when, it was kind of all like holy shit type stuff, the 70,000 people in this place and all of that? Was there something that kind of sticks out in your mind that says, okay, I belong here, or this is cool, or I don't have to worry so much? Uh-oh. Kevin, can you hear me? I can't hear him. Anybody else hear him?
Well, nope. If you can hear us, Kevin, you may have to drop and come back in. Drop and crash everything and come back in. But yeah. Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, he's gonna drop out. So I don't know. Anyways.
The mobile StreamYard bug.
Yeah, the old StreamYard. It gets me honestly all the time on other people's chats, especially if you're using your mobile phone. It's weird. For me, I would say it's kind of a go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I can tell you how we ended up meeting, because hearing your guys' perspective, it always makes me laugh. That there's a group on Facebook. What is it, like YouTube creators? I don't remember what it is. You know what I'm talking about? There's a group that is for firearms creators of YouTube or something like that.
Yeah, well, they've got a couple. They've got the content creators, firearms channels of YouTube. You have the firearm content creators. There's several of them. Yeah.
But you guys were posting a bunch of stuff in there, and I stumbled across that group a month or 3 before SHOT, and you guys had posted so much stuff, and it looked like really polished content, and I just assumed you guys were pretty big, and you know,
and figuratively, right? Yeah.
But and then to hear you afterwards, you neither of you have done anything to convince me that you're not pretty big. All right. But you seem to think that you're not. So I always find that kind of funny that, people tend to take you at face value. If you put your work out there and say, here's who I am, here's what I'm doing, and I'm a firearms reviewer, then, people take you at that. And yeah. So it was neat. And maybe for me, I know the first couple of years it was very much a fake it till you make it thing, and I went out and did the same thing, and I think to kind of further that message to other people of let's get more people going and more people doing this. It don't feel like we're anything special. At least I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to speak for anyone else here, but if I can do this, anyone can do this, right?
That's a great point, because there's 2,500 or so, what they say, 2,500 media badges, or I don't know if that's badges or media outlets, because some people bring 10, 12 people, but 2,500 media are going to be allowed. And I would imagine that like Clover was saying earlier, we know some of our colleagues that have had some issues the last couple of years that are getting in filing for the first time, and they've seemingly maybe raised some standards. I don't know. I had nothing when I first went. SHOT Show for me was kind of where I began. I had started my channel literally 6 months prior to SHOT Show. I had a couple hundred crazy dumbass people out there, love you guys, that watched my shit. Don't know why, still don't, but I did. But for me, SHOT Show was the first time that I felt a part of this whole thing. I'd been part of the gun community as a consumer and as a training and all of that stuff. But I had, this whole media thing was literally brand new. I started in June prior to SHOT Show. So for me, SHOT Show was just going to SHOT Show was big. Just to meet a lot of people and shake hands with people that I watched on YouTube or the companies that I've used for years, and to meet them and understand the whole thing was awesome for me, because there really isn't one. I mean, it's a combination of a lot of things, something like meeting up with Black Rain Ordnance last year at the range, knowing that now they're 3 hours from me and I talk to them all the time. And they're great friends of mine now because of a meeting chance at range day at SHOT Show. Clover and I will talk about Frank all the time. We met Frank at range day when he was with SAR USA. Now he's with UTOS and some other stuff. But, Frank's a good friend of ours. Now, every time we go to industry event, we're always texting back with Frank. Hey, meet you outside to smoke. What are you doing tonight? Hey, let's go out and have a beer or whatever. A lot of these friendships now, they're not just friendships with industry, but they're actual friends of ours were because of SHOT Show. And that's a cool thing. That's what I truly love about SHOT Show is the relationships you gain. And there's some down points. There's some sticky points of that. Absolutely. But a lot of it is very positive. And I guess it's what you make of it. And Jeff, you talk about this. Clover talks about this, kind of faking it till you make it. If you walk into a room and you act like you're supposed to be there, then you do. You belong there. If you go into a room and you yourself don't know if you belong, then you probably don't. But if I walk into a room and said, that dude's no better than I am, And I truly feel that I'm as good at what I do as anybody else. It doesn't matter about numbers. You belong there. So if you're out there and you're thinking about getting to SHOT Show and you think that it might not be worth it, I'm too small or whatever it is, it doesn't matter, bro. That's where you start to grow. Is I didn't see my growth really start until SHOT Show. And then I kind of went on. I mean, for me, I'm not saying I'm massive, but for me, I went from like 300 to like 1,000 like that, and that was because of SHOT Show. And then you go from 1,000 to 2,000 and like that, from 2,000 to 3,000 like that. It's because you start getting in the industry and you get these contacts, you have friends, and you meet other creators. You know, that's a cool thing also, is collaborating with different people. You know, the fact that Jeff allows me to write reviews on his website for him is awesome to me, because I forgot until a couple of years ago when I started doing that. I used to write a lot. And I used to do a lot of stuff not gun related, but I've been published 24 times for other things. But until I started doing that with Jeff, I forgot how much I enjoyed writing. And that's a cool thing, because I never thought that the writing side would be interesting in the firearms, but it really is. And so thank you to Jeff. You know, that was a cool thing, because, you know, that opened up another door for me as well. So, you know, I want to say, before we start heading out, I want to kind of go through both of you and say, if you have one thing that you're looking, maybe not a product, but what's one thing that you're in your mind, if this happens, I'm going to try to make this happen. Is there one thing that you've got, Jeff, that you're going to try to make happen, one way, whether it's a project or meeting somebody or whatever it is?
Yeah. I am going to find another Ghost Tactical or Clover Tac or Armed and Feminine. And this is something that G said to me on a different discussion a few days ago. He asked, do you have any material put together so when you're talking to other content creators, you can bring them into Gear Report? Because he knows that I'm pretty evangelical about that. I will go out and say, hey, you're doing this. Why don't you come do it at Gear Report? And I absolutely love hearing you say that, oh my, TJ's here. Awesome. Sorry, I get distracted real easy. I love hearing people say, you know, that they're happy about doing it, because I know for some people writing is a chore and they don't want to do it. But I'm glad that you discovered that it's something you like and that you're enjoying doing it. I want to find some more people like that. So, I mean, quite literally, as of just a couple days ago, when G planted this in my mind, I've kind of reprioritized everything. And I'm looking for other people that want to be a part of the Gear Report team more than I'm looking for products. You know, I'm going to have 3 people that are looking for products, so that's fine. Right. I don't have to cover that. My focus is more on finding talent, finding good people. And you guys are like the poster children for that. You two, and AJ, who you'll meet, who does the Hummer Mods channel. He was really the test case for me. He's the first person that I let do some additional content that I didn't know, and that worked out so well that I invited you guys in, and it's been wonderful. So help me with that too, as you talk to your content creators.
You try to steal this patch off of my backpack at least 5 times a day.
I could have had it too.
You could have had it several times. I've got several of them for you, and I'm supporting. I don't know if you saw my backpack. I put a post on Instagram. I'm supporting the Gear Report patch.
I saw that you posted, and I was.
I'm bringing the hoodie, the Gear Report hoodie, baby.
That's awesome. I was initially crushed. I was like, he didn't put a Gear Report patch on. Oh, there it is. Whew, yes. Yeah. You know and, I actually do have one of your patches now from the patch, and it has been on my bag since. And until someone
glows, by the way, do you know it glows in the dark?
I didn't know that initially, and when I figured that out, I was like, oh my god! I think I woke my wife up because I was like, oh my god, look at this, and she's like, I have to get up in 4 hours to go to work.
No one gives a shit. Yeah. G23. I do have a few left that I have put aside for sale. I don't even know if they're on my website right now. I honest to God, I've let my website kind of go as far as product because it's been a long year. Send me your email to live@ghosttactical.us and let me know and I'll make sure you get one. But yeah, I'll have a few left for sale. I've only probably got less than 10 left, I think. I'm only taking like 20 of them because that's all I've got left. I sold a shit ton of them earlier in the year and giving people out at NRAM and stuff like that. But I've given them out a lot. I've got about 30 left. I'm taking 20 of them to shot. So I've got about 10 left to sell. So yeah, let me know. Tara says, on a 30-minute break, about to grab fuel. We'll be listening, not committing when driving got to work. Hey, thanks for coming by. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it, Tara. Clover, is there anything in particular that, like, you know, the kind of one thing that you would love to get done at shot this year?
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, I guess there's a couple of things. G23 out there says, as asking, should he do a video on a shooting stand that he built? Absolutely. I mean, without a doubt, break out the camera, get it done, man. DIY stuff and all of that can actually be really big. So, without a doubt. And then the second thing is just saying thanks to Jeff for the nice comments and wanting to follow up on the whole fake it till you make it thing a little bit. Sure. And I get the saying, I get it. But just like you say, if you act like you should be in the room, then you do belong in that room. That's if you have a positive attitude, if you do the work, if you're a team player, if you have any level of professionalism about you, then the only difference between you and let's say a YouTube channel that has millions of subscribers is opportunity. That's the only difference, is opportunity just hasn't knocked on your door yet. And so keep pushing forward, keep that positive attitude. And when those opportunities come, you know, open that door. And for goodness sake, if you know that there's opportunity on the other side of the door, sometimes you have to kick it down, right? That works too. As far as some angles I'm going to play, I mean, there's not one big thing in particular. They all kind of have a theme, I guess, with this, and that's with getting into POMA this last year. Just in, a couple of months of being in POMA opened a few doors that I didn't have previously. And so there's quite a few companies that are tied up with POMA, and I'm going to play the POMA card and I'm going to see what happens with that. Is it, does the trend continue where, I kind of not physically play the POMA card, which I do have a POMA ID card. I could do that, but I've got that on my business cards now, the little logo in the corner and all that. And I'm going to play that angle a little bit with some of those companies that I know are within the POMA organization, which is some fairly big name companies, and just see what happens. I mean, does that get me potentially a podcast interview opportunity? Does that get me some T&E stuff? Does that, heck, anything at this point is better than what I've got. So, yeah, if I had to say I had like a project or an angle I was working or whatever, that would be it.
Yeah, for me, I've got a couple projects that I'm really working on for shot that I'm going to kind of keep close to the chest here. I'm not going to show my cards, but I think it'll be some cool stuff you guys are going to see. But one of the cool things I'm trying to do with the Carry 365 project is I'm, obviously there's going to be a lot of guns there and a lot of gun companies there, but I don't want to just go and say, hey, what's your latest, greatest and all that. What I'm going to be doing is, most people know about this, that concealed carry is a big passion of mine. I want to get as many people carrying as possible. And so what I'm going to do when I go to booths that sell handguns or non-lethal stuff, but for handguns, I'm going to go and ask them what their one model, that if they could pick one model out of their entire lineup that they want to focus for concealed carry, what would that be? So I'm going to try to get as many reviews or pictures or enlighten as many people, especially about some maybe not big brands that are out there that are putting out guns out there for concealed carry. Because like I said, that's a big passion for the channel. That and training are our biggest things that we do here as far as our missions go. But yeah, I've got a couple things as far as doing some projects that I'm looking forward to do. I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody again. Like I said, this is the one time of year that, I won't see Jeff until next shot show, unless we happen to cross paths at another show. But typically during the summer times when it's my busy time at work, so I don't get to go to some of the other stuff, but love hanging out with Jeff and all of that. So I am looking forward to that. And once again, guys, if you're interested about getting to SHOT, there were a lot of things that Clover and I learned from a lot of different people, and taking bits and pieces from Jeff, from Kevin, from G, from 10 different people that helped us not only get into SHOT, but maneuver it that first year. We try to pass that on to some of the people that are going for their first year. Not saying that we're know-it-alls, but every little bit helps to figure out a best way to maneuver SHOT. So if you're interested, let one of us know. We can not only help you maneuver it, but we can give you some guidelines and some tips that might help you get approved in a much quicker fashion that worked for us and has worked for other people that we've helped. So before we go, we do want to talk a little bit about the sweepstakes that Clover and I are doing. I want to say thank you to Guitar Man Pete out there for donating a firearm for us to try to raise some money to cover some expenses for SHOT. After tonight, you realize that no matter what we do, we're not going to cover our expenses to SHOT, but every little bit helps. And so we are the prize pack. Let me go over here. Clover, if you've been putting it into the chat, but what I want to do,
I can screen share it on my end.
Oh, you can screen share it? Sure. Yeah, go for it. Screen share it, and we can go through the products, but you're getting the prize pack is pretty amazing. The sticker costs $10. There's only 100 of them. There's less than 25 left. There's maybe about 20 left. It ends tomorrow night at midnight Pacific time. We'll draw the winner Thursday night live, probably on this channel, to let you know who the winner is. But the prize pack is this. Not only do you get a sign, we're taking the stickers with us to Vegas, and we're going to sign all of them. So everyone that buys one's going to get a sign from Ghost and Clover, Beavis and Butthead style sticker. It's a 3x5 sticker, so it's not just a little small one. It's a pretty good size sticker. And thank you to user out there. He's been dropping the link as well. But anyways, you get excuse me, a TX99 pistol, which is basically a copy of a CZ99, which is basically a SIG P226, but it's a South African made replica of a CZ99. It shoots. It comes with a 15-round mag. It's a pretty nice gun. That's the actual firearm right there. So you get that. You get a pair of Hunter HD Gold shooting glasses, which are $300 to $350 by themselves. So thank you to Hunter HD Gold. You get 200 rounds of ammo. You get electronic hearing protection from Venture Gear Tactical. So thank you to them. Clover's Gun Shop, which is Full Mag Sports, donated a Real Avid Bore Boss. So that's for the 9mm. You've got Cedar Mill Fine Firearms, little plug there. Donated a gun case for us, so thank you to them. Let's see here. You've got one of our viewers and good friends out there who wish to remain nameless, donated a range bag from Voodoo Tactical. That's part of it. Our great friends Rod and Shelly Gates at the Gun Cleaners are donating solvent, lube, and a cleaning mat. That's part of it. You've got Outdoor Products Plus donating 50 paper targets. That's part of it. And you've got High Caliber Targets giving away a gong, a steel gong. That's part of it. And wait, there's more. As of, was it last night or a couple nights ago?
A couple nights ago.
Star Leather jumped in on board and is doing a gun belt, an EDC leather belt. Is that Star Leather out there? So guys, like I said, the $10 buy-in, you can buy more than one. Many people have, but the $10 buy-in for the sticker gets you into this sweepstakes that's like well over $700 in value. And so thank you to Guitar Man Pete to start this whole thing out with the firearm. Thank you to everyone as our friends in the industry and friends as content creators that have jumped in and helped out with this. We really appreciate it. This we've sold over 75 of them. We're close to 80, are we not? I mean, how many are left? Do we know?
We got 20 last time I refreshed.
So we sold 80 of them already. So
yeah,
the TZ99 or the $99.
It is a TZ Tresitu TZ99.
99. It's a South African remake of the CZ99. And so we're also going to have some different swag stuff we pick up at SHOT. Hell, there might be some things thrown in from companies at SHOT. You never know. But as it is right now, the prize pack is pretty amazing. So like I said, thank you to everyone who's jumped in on that. And we truly do appreciate you supporting Clover and I and all that we're doing. And it means a lot to us that you feel strongly enough that you're willing and able to help. So we appreciate it. If you're not able to help, hey, we understand that too. $10 means a lot different things to a lot of different people. So if you can't support financially, maybe you could share it. We've only got 24 hours left, basically. A little over 24 hours left in this thing. Clover, am I missing something? Do you want to talk a little bit? I feel like I'm missing something.
I don't think you're missing anything. I mean, it's important, I guess, to two things that you didn't necessarily miss, but it's important to talk about them. And the first is obviously we've got to sign the stickers at SHOT Show, so they're not going to ship before then. And the prize pack is going to be the same way. We don't have enough time, even though we will announce the winner on the 16th, which is Thursday, this coming Thursday. It actually won't ship until after SHOT Show, so be patient with us on that, of course. And the next thing is if you do win the prize pack, if you live in an area that can't have the firearm, obviously it should be said that there are 10-round magazines available for this thing.
Yes, there are. Yeah,
we can ship it without the magazine. You can pick up a magazine, not a problem. But if you live in a place that you can't have it at all, then that or the ammo or whatever it might be, we can get the other things to you. That's great, and then we'll figure something out on the back end on the rest of it. So don't feel like, because I can't. And most people are donating to the cause. They're not, trying to necessarily win anything. But if you are one of them people and you say, well, I can't, can't receive that or whatever, we'll figure something out.
Yes, we will. Yeah, we'll figure something out that could be compliant or figure out some way, somehow. We'll talk and figure out the best way that everyone's satisfied. But like I said, thank you guys, everyone that's involved who is supporting it. But thank you to everyone who donated items for this. A lot of our friends in the industry jumped on board and helped us out, which is really, really nice to know that, they don't mind helping us out as well. We've actually had a lot more people in the last week that say they would jump in. At this point, we could keep adding stuff on a daily basis. But at this point, we probably aren't adding anything more. We might utilize some of that stuff for NRAM or, something down at GRPC down the road. But we're getting companies, at least I know Clover is also, we're getting companies every day saying, hey, man, hit me up. I've got some stuff that I'd like to hook you up for that stuff. And at this point, pretty much locked in.
We're less than 20 left at this point. So
less than 20 left. We sold 80 of them, at least. That's awesome.
Thanks to everybody. Yeah, less than 20 at this point. I don't know if they'll last the next 24 hours or so, quite honestly. But less than 20 left. And for those that purchased, and especially those that purchased multiples, we do got people, I think 5 or maybe 6 is the most any one person has done. And a little bit bigger thank you to those people. Not much, but a little bit.
Absolutely. I want to bring Jeff back in now that we've kind of self-promoted our shit a little bit. Bring you in and tell people where they can find the social media and on the interwebs, Gear Report, and kind of maybe tell them about some of the projects that you can be working on for 2020.
Yeah. So can I take the screen from you guys for a second?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll review Clover's screen and go ahead and bring yours in. There you go. Perfect.
That's Gear Report. That's where you can find us, gear-report.com. And
notice right there's a picture from SHOT Show last year. I'm not in it.
That's right. Yeah, I got off of that quick. I didn't want you to feel bad. So, but I wanted to point out a couple things. So since we cover all kinds of stuff, not just firearms, you see some firearms. Toby had already did a review of the Little Mo from Lucid Optics, which has barely hit the market. We got some airsoft content.
Look at them today, actually. Yeah.
Swimming, wrestling, ARs, Humvees, camping equipment, flashlights, sailboats. We got it all, folks. and we're really branching out, trying to do new cool stuff as part of 2 series that are going to get some attention at SHOT Show. Our Show Us Your AR series, which I actually skipped last week because I didn't have time to edit. But I'm going to get lots of cool content for that at SHOT Show. So look for the cool ARs that I find at SHOT Show in future episodes of Show Us Your AR. And then the big thing that I didn't mention before, because it's after SHOT, when you guys leave, TJ and I are going over to Battlefield Vegas because they've got a whole fleet of Humvees over there. We went with Dustin. If you like the show Top Shot, go watch season 3 and watch Dustin just smoke everyone and smile.
Spoiler alert: Dustin wins.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's locked
Jeff
up.
brings up. It looks like he's a frozen robot there.
Yeah, we talk about till Jeff comes back, I guess, or whatever. Talking about that at the SHOT Show and meeting people and whatever.
Yeah.
You talk about the Top Shot people, right? And
Yeah, Chris.
I mean, how many of those, from Chris to Gabby to and great people, right?
Absolutely.
And got their fame, maybe not their fortune, but fame from Top Shot, and just salt of the earth. Great people.
Great people. G23 says, shouldn't your Hummer be on that site? I'm a little pissed off about that. He said, Jeff just sent me a message saying his computer rebooted without warning. So I don't know. I'm sure he's going to try to get back in. I hope he does. If he doesn't, gearreport.com. Go check him out on Instagram, Facebook. Obviously, gear-report.com is their website. But yeah, meeting those people are great. As far as answering his question, I put a video up yesterday that my video for my Hummer was rejected by Jeff, and I didn't want to bring that up live because it's still a sore subject with me. So, that being said, I believe that my Hummer H3 deserves to be on their site. They rejected it, so I went ahead and published my video on the channel. So go check that out. I had a good time with them, and but yeah, Jeff's a great guy. Looking forward to seeing him. I'm gonna see if are you coming back? Are you coming back? And see what he says. And he may not come back. And like I said, he had a reboot. He's typing back to me. So let's see what he says. While we're waiting on that, let's let Clover do his plugs and all of that. You got anything coming up this week before you leave for SHOT, or where can we find you during SHOT, or where you can be doing most of your posting?
Well, sadly, obviously, I don't know how you word that, but probably Instagram, quite honestly. And I know if you're an old fuddy dud like G Webs, then you don't like it, but that's the nature of the beast. It seems to be what's going to happen. If you want to see any of the quick live, stuff or anything like that, it's pretty much going to have to be Instagram. There'll be some Instagram posts. I may do, a YouTube live here and there from a parking lot or the house, or do something. I mean, that could happen. Up until then, really got a lot to do. I mean, I've got some podcasts and things I've got to get recorded. This Friday will be another one of our local sheriff's candidates on, and talking with him. That was a pretty good chat for that podcast. And putting those out for a reason. Putting those out because I want people to know, just like G23 and some of the other people with their questions, there's a rise, I guess you could say, with the new media and the digital media, of the ability to be citizen journalists in a way. And we talked about this on After Hours one time. We were talking with Roll Call, and he was talking about his mayoral race, and he's got lives in a city of 175,000 or 115,000, maybe it was, or something like that. And he's like, yeah, our mayoral race was only won by 3% of the vote. And we did the math on that. And I don't remember the number of votes, but it was mind boggling. It was so low. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like
literally every vote counts.
It was like 400 votes or something in a city that big. And I'm like, how many Facebook friends do you have? Right? How many do you have? 400 Facebook friends, 1,000 Facebook friends? You can influence an election on the small scale, on the city and the county level. So if you've got an opportunity, and sheriffs are really important in the Second Amendment battle. We see that with the sanctuary counties and cities and other things. Reach out to those candidates, help those good candidates get a video with them, get their position on 2A, ask them questions so people get to know who they are, and put that out on your social media and stuff, and help those out. And so that's sort of why I'm doing that with the Fire on Friday podcast. It can potentially help make a little bit of a difference locally, but also maybe inspire some other people in some other areas of the country to do the same thing, and use these tools that we've got, to really affect change in 2020, right?
Absolutely.
Outside of that, dropped the first impressions video on the Henry Golden Boy Texas Tribute Edition today.
Beautiful.
So got that rolling. Got another video drop before we leave for shot. Got another video that will drop probably later this week. Obviously, Fire on Friday on Friday. And then, start looking for SHOT Show stuff. If you are a patron over on Patreon, that's patreon.com/CloverTac, by the way. I'm working on potentially some special behind the scenes during Range Day at Antares, as well as Industry Day at the Range for that. So jump over there, support the channel, hang out, and potentially get some cool content as well. It's been a great chat. I've enjoyed chatting with you and Jeff tonight.
It was fun, and we'll see in a couple days.
Kevin was here.
Kevin was here. I told the Kevin recently we've been talking a little bit more. We go sometimes. Kevin and I's friendship are very volatile. We'll go months without speaking to each other, but then we'll always find a way to kind of talk. And like I've told before, Kevin, I love Kevin Reichert. I like Tack Daddy. I could give two shits about. But once people get to know Kevin Reichert, he's a good dude that means well for the most part. I think, as everyone does, tries to mean well. We brought Jeff back in. Yeah, a reboot out of the middle of nowhere. That was nice, huh?
Mid-sentence. And
That's awesome. Yeah, we noticed that. It was like,
exactly. Yeah, and it still hadn't come back. It's like frozen. Here, I'll show you. Boom.
Nice.
There.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So this is the iPhone sitting on. Well, here's the stand that I'm using to hold it.
And this is all on gearreport.com. You can find this DIY stand on gearreport.com.
Yeah, I should do that. Absolutely.
That's one of those multi-purpose stands, man. That's great for the carpenter or the whatever there.
But it's actually working better than I expected. And it gave me warnings on the way in because the PC still hadn't come back. And the little iPhone, it said, this is experimental. We don't have good mobile support. It's like, well,
and they don't.
I'm rolling the dice, baby.
No, I use it when I'm not doing my show. Every other show or podcast that you see me on StreamYard, it's on my mobile phone. And I would say for the most part, I don't have many problems. But if I have a problem, it's going to be 7 of them in one thing, So they're still working on it. It's still a decent one. I kind of like StreamYard because they have the back room that in case someone gets a hold of the link to the chat, they're not automatically in, and that helps a little bit. It sounds bad, but it helps. So we were kind of talking about where people can find you and where during SHOT Show can people find the content that you're going to be putting out.
Yeah, good question. And that is something I'm struggling with. Are we going to post any content during SHOT? So I'm actually kind of scheduling some new stuff to drop on Gear Report, but it's not SHOT related. It's just, other gear review stuff that we'll post while we're there. I don't know, given that, and Clover, I went and watched your video on the new YouTube rules to try to sort out the whole, what can you do and what can't you do? And can you handle weapons during live streaming or not? And honestly, I'm more confused than I was before. So
no, you can't. If you're going to go live on YouTube, I would suggest be outside or in the media room. I'm going to do most of my live. If I go live, it'll be on Instagram because at least Instagram hasn't come out yet with not handling live. So Instagram's going to be where I do a lot of my stuff during the day. So if you're not following the 3 of us, as we're all on Instagram, taking cool pictures and doing maybe some live. But Jeff, if you're going to go live throughout the day, On YouTube, I would be outside or in the media room for sure.
Yeah.
And I've got another meeting, by the way, with YouTube tomorrow, believe it or not. So I've had two. That'll be 2 YouTube meetings in a week.
Yeah.
All right. Have you made anything good happen with that?
Publicly, I can't really talk about a lot. Maybe after tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wait till Ghost hits
Privately.
the button. Yeah, wait till Ghost hits the button.
But so the other thing during shot, I will have all my guys kind of set up with access to all our various social media. So they'll probably be posting pictures, as I will, as we run across cool things. We'll post pictures through like Hootsuite, where it goes out to Twitter and Facebook and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably where during the week, that's where you'll find stuff. And then next Saturday, the Saturday after shot, when we go out the battlefield and drive tanks and APCs and Humvees. And yeah, they said we're going to shoot a minigun from the turret of a Humvee. I was like, hey, that's cool. Because I have a turret in my Humvee.
I've got a 50 cal and a 60 and a saw from a Humvee, but never a minigun. That would be badass.
And that may not even be the coolest thing that we do. They have got full agenda of stuff. We're going to come out with lots of pictures, lots of video. We're going to, for months, be dropping Battlefield Vegas content. So you'll find that on Gear Report. Yeah.
As far as me, I'll be doing the same thing. Like I said, I'll be doing most of my stuff during the day will be on Instagram or Facebook, because when I post Instagram, it posts to Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr. So if you're on any of those and you rather do that instead of Instagram, they'll be there, so you can find our daily, posts and all that. If we go live, it'll be on Instagram. Most of the content that I shoot will be produced content when I get back from Vegas. So let's see here. All right. So G23 says, Jeff, we voted and Ghost's H3 needs to be put on the site.
The people have spoken.
The people have spoken, damn it. No, he says that's all he can say is no.
Site. So, let's go back to the earlier discussion. Yeah, I'm not special. You can create your own site if you want to host an H3.
I have, and I did.
I'm talking to, what was it, G23? Is that what you said? Yeah.
Yeah, G23 out
there.
The
make it happen, Captain.
Well, you and I were talking about this a few days ago on another chat, or maybe on a phone call, maybe. I'm not even sure. I think it was on the phone about some different stuff that you guys are going to be doing with, show us your this and all of that. And I think that was really cool. And I know how you feel about Hummers. And so I said, I've got to have some fun, because I knew you would appreciate the humor to it. And then so I sent it to you, and then all of a sudden I posted it. I went live, and all of a sudden I get this message from you that says, basically, holy shit. And I was like, you like it? And he goes, no. And I was like, oh shit, I done pissed him off, I was like, oh shit. I was like, my bad. I'm trying to, and all of a sudden he sends these gifts to me or whatever they're called. And he says, I love it and all that. But I was like, at first I was like, oh shit, I've done pissed Jeff off. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. I had a great time doing it. That's part of the stuff that I like doing with friends like that, because you can have fun. And you're trying to plug a great project. And it is a great project. If you're involved with military vehicles and Humvees, go watch Gear Reports this series. They've got Dustin Ellerman from Top Shot. They got a guy from, was it Turkey or something like that sent you stuff? Yeah. That's awesome.
Yep. And, I'm trying to remember where. Yeah, I'm blanking now. I'm going to be editing this week's episode. That drops on Wednesday. Is that right? No, Friday. No, it's Wednesday. AR is on Friday.
So tomorrow we'll have one dropping possibly.
So it's tomorrow. That means hey, I'll be editing.
You get to stay up late tonight. Yeah. Hey, there is a question out there, and I think he's halfway serious, because he likes to have a good time, but I think he might be serious because he wants to know, do you have a section for overpriced Jeeps? But Jeeps are an outdoor thing, so I didn't know other reviews on Jeeps or anything over at Gear Report.
Not yet, but okay. In all seriousness,
yeah,
I love pretty much any kind of vehicle except
Hummers,
H2s and H3s. But yeah, if you want to feature some Jeeps, actually there will be a Jeep in Show Us Your Humvee, the episode that I'm going to edit tomorrow.
Okay.
There will be a Jeep briefly mentioned with pictures. It was pretty cool. Happens to be owned by a guy who also has a Humvee, and that's how he's kind of sneaking in on the coattails of the Humvee. But if someone wants to send me cool Jeep pictures, you know what? I'll put them in there. That's fine.
Yeah,
sure. That's fine.
Just not
video.
Just not Hummers.
Well,
I'm just messing with you, bro.
I hate to draw the line on decency somewhere, but
I understand.
I have to.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand. All right, guys, we've had a great time. User, don't make me pull your damn wrench from you. He says H3 is an overpriced Jeep. I will pull that shit from you. What do you got going on? Oh, it finally went to the welcome screen. Okay.
Sort of. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, thank you again for watching live. If you're watching or listening in replay, most of this was a great chat. A lot of it, sometimes we just have fun between friends. Leave some comments down below. Let us know what you guys are thinking about SHOT Show. If you are interested in going to SHOT Show, if you need help getting to SHOT Show and all that, we would love to help you out. If you've got any questions for Jeff or any of the guys over at Gear Report that I can't answer, I would more than happy get those questions to Jeff and see if we'll be able to get back to you and all that. But gear-report.com, gear-report.com, go check them out. They're great friends, and we actually have, Clover and I both actually have content over there. We've done some reviews for them and look to hopefully do a lot more this year for you as well, Jeff. So, guys, Clover, you got anything in closing you want to throw out there?
Not really. It's been fun.
It has been fun. Great chat. And, Jeff, we'll see you. If we don't see you Saturday night, then we will see you Sunday at Terry's, I believe, correct?
Yes, you will.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to get in kind of late on Saturday, so you likely won't see me then. And then maybe we can just kind of catch up in the morning. I think when it starts,
we talked about going to breakfast or something before Terry's. I don't know if we're going to do that or not. We should,
Were you guys planning on being there at 9 when it starts?
Yep.
Yeah. TJ and I were kind of thinking about that, and then I think Bloke's flight's supposed to get in around 9. We were thinking about maybe if he's going to get in on time, maybe swinging by the airport and picking him up on the way. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, we'll see you regardless. We will see you Sunday sometime, and always having you on, my friend, and we'll see you soon, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you. We will not have a show next Tuesday night because I think we got like 3 or 4 things we got going on Tuesday night next week, so there will not be a show. So if anyone wants to have this time slot and turn the camera on for the first time, more than welcome. Take my time slot, and we'll support you all you want. Let me know, and I'll actually even throw it out there on Instagram or something saying go check you out. Take the time slot, be more involved, get to the range, be more proficient, and remember, next Monday as well is in Richmond, Virginia, is the VCDL's hosting the rally and the lobby day. If you're around Virginia, even if you're not a Virginia citizen, get to that rally. They need all the support we can get because this could spread to all over the damn country like wildfire. So get out there, be vigilant and support the Second Amendment out there.
And there's spinoff rallies supporting that in various other states as well. So check with your state level. Check with your state level organizations because they probably know about those, and see if there's one in your state that you might need your support.
Yeah, I know there's one in Kentucky, one in New Mexico, one in California. I mean, there's a bunch of them. So yeah, get out there and be active. So we love you guys. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Peace in the Middle East. Semper Fi.